Hey everybody, I'm Eric Oberembt, and you're listening to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We talk about real shit, what's on our minds, and don't give a fuck if it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for some real shit. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We're going to be doing a few of these kind of shorter interview deals. We're at an event right now where it's Storm into the New Era. As you can see, we have this giant, embarrassing backdrop behind me, but we're going to be traveling to different conferences and doing some live, well, not live interviews. We're going to record them, obviously, but we're going to be doing some interviews with some people just to kind of give everybody an opportunity to get to know some different people that are going to these conferences and things like that. We don't normally talk about industry stuff. When we're on this show, we talk more about personal stuff, but we're gonna dig into that and use the opportunity when we're traveling to be able to set up and get to have more conversations with more people. So that all being said, normally we go through the housekeeping, so I'll go through the housekeeping really quick. Please remember, we don't have sponsors. We don't necessarily want sponsors because we want to be able to say whatever the fuck we want, whenever the fuck we want. So because of that, the cost of entry is we ask you, will you please share this shit? If you hear something that you think is helpful and can impact somebody, please share it out there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, whatever you listen to, and share it with your friends if you think that it provides value. If it doesn't, then don't. I don't really care. That's cool. I understand. It's not for everybody. Not everyone likes me. So all that being said, I'm super excited. Our first guest here at Storm is my very close friend, Larry Bubba Richards.
You actually said Bubba.
I did. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm literally the only person that calls you Larry. Is that correct?
You and the Reeds.
Oh, the Reeds do too?
The Reeds call me Larry.
I don't know what it is. I just can't pull it off. But Larry and I met, what was it, a couple years ago almost now?
Yeah, been a couple of years now.
Been a couple of years now. We met inside of Roofers in Recovery. And that was kind of why I really wanted Larry to be here and be my first guest at Storm, because we're here at this event that is celebrating growth and celebrating good. Right. In the industry, right? And we're trying to make this shift that we're talking about with the American Roofing and Restoration Council, and we're trying to make this shift in the industry, and it kind of goes back to, our lives, right? Like, we had to make a shift somewhere. We had to make a change. We had to do something. And a couple of years ago when we met, you were going through some struggles, you were going through some stuff, and we luckily got to find each other and got to start doing some work together and stuff, and then just become friends, right, during that process. And so what I kind of want to hear from you today too is why you're here, other than Roofers in Recovery, right? Obviously that's important, but why are you here today, and why do you think that this event is so important? Because I think it transcends just the roofing industry and this event itself.
Sure. So this morning I was visiting with one of the guys here at the breakfast table, and we were talking about that. So for me, that backstory, that first event that we went to, like, I was afraid to leave my home,
right?
Like, and go out and do anything away from my home. So, because the last time I had done that, I ended up in jail,
right?
And spent some significant time in there then, and
that kind of stuff happens,
right?
You go to conferences. Right? That's what's going to happen.
So, I told you about that fear, and you said, "Come on, I'll meet you." And so we did that, and then through the recovery process, you get to know specific faces that for me are safe.
Right.
So when I'm at a conference, I'm like, I know that person's safe, that person's safe. So as we've gone through the couple of few years of development, and you go to the conferences and you have people that are about development, you have people that are there to do the party, we go away from the house and do all that stuff. But here, everyone here is associated with personal development
and purpose.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And they're driven to be about bettering our industry. So what we were talking about at breakfast this morning was, so when you leave here and we go to another conference, now the faces that you've seen here are part of that group. Those are your people.
Yep.
And so it builds some camaraderie, whether it's online, it leaves here and goes to Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. You have levels of support because those are your people.
Right.
You're going to support them when they post something and they're trying trying to promote something that sometimes you may scroll on past. Now you're going to stop and go, hang on, those are my people. I need to help promote them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so, and one of the other things, you know, obviously the name of the podcast is Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. And one of the cool things that I think that you get from that is in that process of getting to learn about each other and getting to know each other is that it gives you this opportunity to be your authentic self without feeling like you have to hide it from somebody else, right? You get to be the person, that you were supposed to be, but you also don't have to be ashamed of the person that you used to be because we can relate to each other. You know, we talked about that this morning in our meeting, but I think that that's such a powerful thing to be able to come to anything. It doesn't matter if it's a conference or what it doesn't matter what it is, but to be able to have, I'm just kind of having an epiphany here, but like to be able to have those kind of friendships and those kind of relationships with people, I think that's something that everyone should strive for, right? Whether it doesn't matter if you're in fucking recovery or you're not, or what you're in or why you're going to something, right? Strive to have that connection. And I've been talking about connection a lot lately. It's going into my next keynote that I'm doing. Like I'm digging into it a lot, but like I found out through some personal growth stuff that I did that like, I didn't realize how much I was looking for connection. I didn't even think about it. It didn't even cross my mind that was what I was searching for. And I think that with the things that we're doing here, I think that that's what we're all finding, whether it's purposeful or not. And I think that for people that are listening, like, search that out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you realize that, I mean, that's what we're made for.
Right.
You know, and for, not to steal your word, but authentic connection is what we're made for. You go to a conference, especially a roofing conference, a very male-dominated industry where we're all walking around with our egos. My company does this, and my top salesman
this.
Speaking
of egos,
we'll just layer that in.
Yeah.
But it's that's what we do oftentimes as guys, and when you can set that to the side and understand we genuinely want to know each other, we genuinely want to learn from each other, where we can have real conversations about where we struggle, about where we all have areas that we're great, we all have areas that we're weak,
right?
You know, and I migrate to people that share those same areas, and in the conversations that you get to have when you realize that we genuinely do strive for connection, we can, hey, how's it going, man? How's your year been? And then let's cut through the peripheral bullshit and let's go to,
because it all comes to helping.
Yep.
Right. Because when you get to serve and you get to help other people and you get to go through some battles together, right? I don't know if you watched the last podcast that we had with Andrew Schultz, and we were talking about, he was an old, we played football together in high school, right? And we were interviewing him and we were talking about that, and like those little wars that you go through, right? Like I wasn't in the military, I wasn't, like I don't have that experience, but it's that you can take it into another place, right? I mean, we both played football, whatever, you at a higher level, but we both played ball, and playing ball is like that, right? Like you can literally hate the guy to your left, right? I played center. And so this is a story how I always tell this story. I played center, and I remember we were playing a game, and it was like 4th and 2, and we had to get this fucking first down, right? And our best play was a 30 or a 31 trap, right? And my coach came up to me, and I had my best friend on my right, and I had this other guy on my left that I didn't really fucking care for, right? But in the game, I loved him. Outside of the game, didn't like him, wouldn't hang out with him, didn't matter, but he was my brother when we were fighting together, right? And my coach came up to me and said, Eric, it's your call. You want to run 30 or 31? And that depended on who pulled and who I knew was going to make the fucking block and who was going to make sure that we got that 2 yards. And I had to make that choice, and I was like, if I would have been petty and shitty, I'd been like, my friend, right? But I knew that it had to be the guy that was standing next to me that I knew was going to make that block,
was going to deliver
and do that. And going through those type of experiences together, that's what brings you closer, whether it's in recovery where we can share stories with each other and not, again, be ashamed of it and be like, yeah, I was in jail. Like somebody said this morning, I can talk to people and say, hey, I pissed myself and threw up. And we all are like, yeah, I get it. Like I did that. Like I pissed on many couches. Like that's just what I fucking did. But I think that's the connection. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
what's up? Oh, and look, Sam's here. Let's interrupt with fucking Sam. No, we're recording too. Like this is a recording. Sam's here. Come in, Sam. Come and say hi.
Did you see Eric was here?
This is embarrassing, isn't it? Like this is a lot. This is a lot right here. This is a lot. But so that was the other infamous Sam Taggart just came in to interrupt our show, and we don't cut anything. So come on in, Sam. Love you, brother.
Love you.
How are you?
I love you.
Good to see you.
We're in the show. We're recording.
We're recording. Like this is a podcast. This is going to go out. So you're in. You're in.
Guys, a couple things about Eric. He doesn't like to wake surf or wakeboard. It's not his. It's not
that I don't like to. I just can't.
And I forgot his shoes. Dang it.
Oh, I
just thought of that. I was like,
son of a bitch. He was supposed to bring my shoes.
Supposed to bring his shoes.
That's hilarious.
Love you guys. Keep rolling.
Thanks, Sam. You're next. So yeah, just get ready. So anyway, but at the end of the day, like that's why we're here, right? We're here for connection. I thank my God that we got to find each other,
right,
and have that camaraderie that we have.
Yeah, I think for me when I sought you out, as we know, when we're in our meetings and those things, you look for someone that has something that you want. And I had not found a lot of those people in recovery. And so I started looking for people that I identify with. And I do think there's so much, you've got more time in than I do, but so much of our story and so much of our past was similar that I was like, okay, that can help me, can help me get there. And it was that connection. And when you're going through and sharing your guts and sharing your ugly stuff with someone, there's got to be a lot of trust. Like you're talking about running a 30 trap. You got to know that guy's going to deliver and he's also going to protect you. So in our situation, having that trust where I know you're going to deliver, you're going to call me on my bullshit. One of the biggest things, and I know I told you this a long time ago, but it was, and we joke about ego a lot, but I'm like, I struggle with ego. I just do. And I'm like, Eric struggles with ego. Eric can help me then get through my ego. So when we sat down and I did bare my soul to you, there were two things that I knew. I knew you would identify with it, and I knew you would protect it. And that's the thing on a larger level in this is I know the people here will identify with me because we're all pulling on the same string. And I know they're going to give me sound advice. They're not going to bullshit and give you some stuff that's just pie in the sky stuff. They're going to legitimately try and serve you. And that's what we want as an industry. That's what, the saying here is shift. That's the shift that we want. Folks that are there to serve each other.
Absolutely 100% agree. Larry, thank you so much for taking the time and being here. What we do at the end of every episode, though, is I always want to give the guests the last couple of minutes to leave listeners and viewers with something, right? And I know that Bubba always has got something on his mind that he just loves to fucking close somebody with. But if there's something that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure that people know either about you or what you care about or why you're here, let's leave everybody with that.
I think, about me is roofing is an opportunity for me to pay my bills and provide for my family. My desire is to impact people. I know your desire is to impact people. But the biggest thing that I take away from all this in the roofing industry is that there is a change coming. And there's more of us that want to have an impact on people and be positive in this industry. So if you're one of those that is sitting on the outskirts that's just waiting for it, get off your couch, get off your ass and get in and be a part of it. There's a spot for you to make a difference in this industry and to serve and to impact people through your actions, whether it's behind the scene or in front of a camera. Everybody can be impactful. Everybody can be helpful in moving our industry forward to becoming not the armpit of contractors, being something that we can be proud of and say, I own a roofing company. and that feels great.
Yeah, and the thing that I tell all of my people that work for me, roofing is a widget for us.
Yep.
That happens to be our widget that we're really good at, but it's a widget to give us the opportunity to help and serve others that aren't in the industry necessarily, or are. But that's our widget to be able to generate revenue so that we can use that revenue and that capital to be impactful.
Yep.
And I think that's the other thing that drew us closer together too.
100%.
So, Larry, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you enjoyed this, if you got anything out of it, please take the time. Please share it. Please subscribe to the channel. And remember, everybody, be authentic or get the fuck out.
Be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah. Swipes.